This presentation will explain why attending the Academy of Art University's online BFA program is necessary for employment. The following topics will be covered in this presentation: the major, BFA acceptance, a curriculum comparison, faculty and staff, online versus on-campus, internships, an industry comparison, career services available, and my personal aptitude and interest regarding the available majors. Let's begin with an introduction summary of each topic that will be covered in this presentation. First, we have the major. The fact of the matter is that there are no other options for a visual development major. I will be taking a closer look at the kinds of majors that are available at public universities in Colorado that offer a BFA degree and why those majors are not likely to help me gain steady employment. Next, we have BFA acceptance. The sad truth is that I am not guaranteed access to a BFA degree at Colorado public universities. In contrast, I will be demonstrating in detail how taking a closer look at the acceptance rates of the Colorado public universities compare to the acceptance at the Academy of Art University's online BFA program, which offers instant access to students looking to obtain a BFA in their chosen degree emphasis. We also have a curriculum comparison. So basically, all BFAs are not created equal, and I'll be telling you why. We'll be taking a closer look at the content of the classes that are available in the BFA programs from Colorado public universities and how they do not relate to building the essential skills needed to maintain employment in the field of visual development and in other artistic fields in general as well. Faculty and staff. The quality of the faculty and staff are very important, vital components to success in employment. We'll be taking a closer look at the people who comprise the faculty and staff of the BFA programs from Colorado public universities and how they simply do not equal the quality of the faculty and staff that are available through the Academy of Art University's online program. I'll also be taking a look at studying online versus studying on campus. Basically, studying online is simply not the same as taking classes on campus. They are very different environments, and one does not work well for my disability. Taking a closer look at the financial cost comparison will also be important, because it's going to cost more for me to go to school on a campus versus going to school online, and I will outline all of the reasons how. Also, we'll be taking a closer look at the quality of the online education and the convenience of going to school online and how well the online school works for me personally and for my disability of ADHD. We'll also be looking at internships. I'll be telling you a little bit more about why internships are vital to employment, and we'll be taking a closer look at the availability of internships through a Colorado public university versus those that are available through the resources found at the Academy of Art University online. The companies that host internships for various art majors will be looked at, as well as the internships that are very career specific for the major of visual development. I'll be doing an industry comparison. So the industry of visual development is far larger and more diverse than what is available for those working in the field of fine arts and graphic design. I'll be taking a look at the limited availability of jobs throughout the fields of fine art and graphic design versus the career-specific industry that is available within the multi-million-dollar industries that are requiring visual development artists. Career services are also very important. There are many more career support options for the visual development major than there are for other artistic majors available through Colorado Public Universities. I'll be taking a closer look at those limited options that are available for people who graduate from fine arts and graphic design degrees from public universities, and I'll go into the specific details of the many career options that are career specific to visual design that again are made available through the Academy of Art University online. Lastly, we have the topic of my own personal aptitude and interest, as well as what ADHD means for an art student and why studying online is going to be better for me than studying in person at school on campus. So here I'll be going into information about why I'm far more likely to succeed and be happier in a career as a visual development artist. And I'll take a closer look at my personal strengths and passions and why being a visual development artist will bring me more joy and more income than any other artistic field available through education from Colorado Public Universities. So let's start with the Academy of Art University's online program for visual development. I have done extensive research and there are no other universities online, out of state, or in state that offer the specific BFA degree major of visual development. Academy of Art University's online program is the only one that offers this major. The closest thing that I could find is going to be listed in my justification of training information that I have also attached in this presentation. So basically, the other schools that I found that have something that's kind of like a visual development program from the San Francisco Academy of Art Online would be the Savannah College of Art and Design, which offers an online sequential art degree program. Now that's more so geared towards comic book artists, but what I liked about it was that it included all of the technology that visual development artists use, including Wacom Cintiq tablets, as well as all of the Adobe Suite software. And they also offer visual storytelling and character design. And then the next option that I could find was from Laguna College of Art and Design, which is in Laguna Beach, California. They do not have an online program for their degree in illustration and entertainment design. But their degree program for illustration in an entertainment design is very similar to getting a degree in visual development. Problem is, it's not online. You would have to go to school on campus in Laguna Beach, California. Returning to our presentation, let's take a look at what majors are available through the Colorado Public Universities. So this is a collection of the majors that I found through my research that I detailed in the last page of the Summary 4 document that I sent you. So we have the degrees of Fine Art, Ceramics, Photography, Sculpture, Metalwork, Painting, Drawing, Printmaking, and Textiles, which can also be included in a degree that is categorized as studio art. Then we have fashion, graphic design, art education, art history, illustration, and digital art. So these are the only BFA majors available at Colorado Public Universities, and note that none of these majors offer any kind of specific training for visual development, which is the job that I intend to acquire through my education. In order to cite this information, I want to reference that summary, so I'm going to pull it up right now so you can get some information as to where I sourced all of the BFAs that are available. So again, this information is all linked in summary 4 on the last page. Right here we're looking at majors and concentrations from Colorado State University. Here's their Art BFA program, and you can see that their majors include concentrations in art education, drawing, electronic art concentration, which you would think would have something to do with visual development, but it actually doesn't. I'll be going into further detail about that in another video, but basically electronic art concentration focuses on experimental video and animation techniques, net art, and using software as a medium to create output, which is very different. It's more like experimental art. It's very avant-garde. It actually has nothing to do with the entertainment industry that visual development artists work in. Again, we have fibers concentration, graphic design concentration, metalsmithing, painting, photo image making. This is more geared towards a photography major, so you'll still be learning Photoshop, but it won't have anything to do with visual development. It's all about Photoshop editing for editorial situations like magazines and personal photo shoots for like families or senior photos, pottery concentration, printmaking, and sculpture concentration. You can see the same thing with Mesa University. Here's their Bachelor of Fine Arts information, and they have majors and minors in art history, education, studio art minor, studio art. Again, studio art is like painting, sculpture, drawing, textiles, metalworking, all combined into one major. And then Adams State University, yes, they offer a Bachelor of Fine Arts, but again, they do not have specific degree information regarding the concentrations, like you would have a concentration in sculpture or illustration. I couldn't find that information listed here. MSU Denver, if we scroll down, there's information about the BFA that they have in art education, communication design, which again is more geared towards graphic design or freelance art. We have the Center for Visual Art that is part of their campus, but basically it's for fine artists, studio artists, gallery artists, community artists, art books. There is a concept artist thing here, but honestly looking through their curriculum and course development, there really wasn't anything except for one class regarding concept art included in that major. So moving on to Denver University, there are major information listed here, and then we also have information from Western Colorado University about the BFA degree programs. Again, you can research all of this through summary 4 on the last page. But I just wanted to show you that my research shows that there are no majors in visual development or even a concentration that is even remotely similar to visual development. There is nothing in here that looks like visual development or that could be used as a visual development artist apart from maybe the foundations in art, which include the figure drawing, the painting, and some of the sculpture, because visual development artists do maquette sculptures out of clay for character design, but like I said, it's not a concentration in those areas. It's just an overall general art degree, which is not what I'm looking for, and it also does not provide enough employment opportunities for me after I graduate, and I'll be going into more detail about that. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Why can't I pick one of those majors instead? I mean, look at all the majors we have right here available at public universities. Well, none of these majors carry with them the immediate potential for employment in a way that a visual development degree does. And I'm going to show you why. So let me minimize this and we will go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. I have everything prepared and pulled up here. So, when we're looking at a fine arts degree, fine arts are categorized in the same category with craft art, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So, when we're looking here at craft and fine artists' job summary, we have a listing of only 50,300 jobs total. We also have a lower amount of money for median pay as well as per hour pay. When you click on Job Outlook, it'll take you to the information showing the growth, and it looks like we have a percentage change of 1 to 2%, which is not a lot of growth over a 10-year period. Also, when you look at the breakdown of the number of artists, we have craft and fine artists at a total of 50,000, but craft artists only have 9,800 of those jobs, and fine artists, which includes painters, sculptors, and illustrators, is 28,600 jobs. And then other artists and related workers is 11,000 jobs. So there's really not a lot of jobs available for people who get fine arts degrees or use those fine arts degrees to do projects in crafting arenas. So I just wanted to display that information there. Also, the unemployment rate for fine artists is currently at 9.1%, which I find to be a bit high. Let's look at some of the other majors that were listed from Colorado public universities. One of them was photography. So we do have a larger amount of jobs in photography, but what was really startling to me is that the job outlook for photographers is actually shrinking. It's projected to shrink 6% over a 10-year period. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the photography jobs will shrink by 8,300 over the course of 10 years. Another option that was available for a BFA degree concentration from a public university was fashion design. And fashion design, although it makes fairly decent money, there are little to no changes in the growth rate. And check this out, the number of jobs is only 25,800 total, which is much smaller compared to the 71,000 for multimedia artists and animators, which is where my chosen vocation path of being a visual development artist is categorized under. Another thing that was available for a BFA was graphic design degree, and the job outlook, although it's projected to do fairly well, at 290,000 jobs, which is actually quite a lot. That leads to facing strong competition for available positions. Also, there is a growth rate, but it's only at 3%. And then I started to do some more research about this because I thought maybe this would be a viable option, considering that there were 290,100 jobs for graphic design in Job Outlook. But I found some pretty disturbing information online on forums like this. Is from Indeed.com, which is a job finding site. They have a community of job seekers that talk about the jobs that they've had or the jobs that they're looking for. And I'm afraid there's just a lot of articles on here about designers that are really dissatisfied with their degrees, as well as the fact that they're struggling to get jobs. I did a little more research on this and came up with a couple different websites. Like here's an article from Business Insider that actually lists graphic design under the category of 10 most useless graduate degrees. And this also occurs at GameSpot.com, offering that the graphic design is also on a list of top 13 most useless most useless degrees. Graphic design is listed there. So it makes me a little concerned I'm also not as interested in working in the graphic design industry. If you go to a summary of information and then what they do, looking through here, I learned that a lot of the work that graphic designers do is for corporations or for companies. So their creativity is limited to what the company that's hired them wants for the business. So even though I would be coming up with new ideas and creating things on the computer, there really isn't a lot of room for creativity because you're locked into the parameters of what the client is paying you to do. Also, most graphic designers create logos, they create brands, they create websites. So my aptitude for doing character design and drawing faces and clothing and creating creatures and working with environments, none of that is going to be used in graphic design, or at least very little of it, because most of the work I would be creating would be for more corporate situations, like I said before, logos and websites. A lot of this is about typography, so understanding which fonts to choose, and then being able to use only one facet of Adobe Design, which is most likely to be Illustrator or Photoshop. There are no bits and pieces of animation in the graphic design degrees that I've looked for. So unfortunately, a big part of my aptitude and a big part of my interest is missing from this degree career path. What I want to do now is look at the contrast of these numbers to the degree that I want to go in. So let's go back to multimedia artists and animators, which is where visual development artist categories live. So this multimedia artists and animators information shows that we have 71,600 jobs available as of 2018, with a 4% growth, as well as an increase of 3,000 jobs. So we have pretty good numbers here. And then the salary is also more than all of the other items that I have shown you, at 72,520 as the median pay from 2018, or $34.87 per hour. I also wanted to take a look at the industries that visual development artists work in. So here's information about the film and video editors and camera operators occupational outlook handbook from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And again, the rate is higher than the other degrees that I've looked at, so you can see that this industry that hires visual development artists is a fairly good paying industry. The job outlook is at 11% increase. That's an employment change over 10 years of adding 7,900 jobs, and there are currently 69,200 jobs in the film and video editors, camera operators category, which again is not precisely for visual development, but it is the industry in which a visual development artist works. So I wanted to highlight this so that you can see that the industry in which I would be working is growing, and it does pay fairly well and has currently 69,200 jobs. Let's take a look at producers and directors, which is also in the entertainment industry where visual development artists work. Again, we have a much higher median pay at $71,680 per year, or $34.46 per hour. And this again has a large number of jobs, 152,400, and a 5% growth rate, which is an increase of 7,200 jobs over the course of 10 years. And again, I'm not going to school to get a bachelor's degree to be a producer or director, but that is something that I could do further along down the line with my art career. And then many producers and directors hire visual development artists to work on their projects. And so I just wanted to show you how many of them are out there so you can get an idea of how many jobs are available, how many bosses that I would be working under, so to speak, producers and directors, how many of those there are according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So, taking a look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics website for art directors, we have a summary here, and you can see that they make the largest amount of money out of all of the occupations that I've looked at so far, with a 2018 median pay of $92,780 per year, or $44.60 per hour. It does require a bachelor's degree. There are 101,000 jobs, not a lot of job growth, but still at that amount, 900 jobs increase. So I wanted to talk about art directors for a moment because, one, this is the very first career path that my aptitude tests pointed to. So this option was given to me as the very first option when I took the aptitude test from careertest.com. And art director is something that I could not find a degree for specifically, especially at Colorado universities. There were a few art degrees that had emphasis on art direction, but they were out of state and they also did not have online programs for those degrees. Basically, if you want to become an art director, from my research, you have to be in the industry and work your way up. So you would start out as an artist, and then you would grow and learn while you're an artist working for other people, and you basically climb the ranks. So you're climbing this ladder so that you can understand how a production company works, how to lead a team, all of the different aspects of creating a final product, and then you essentially become the conductor, or in this case the art director, who puts together the final product by organizing all of the other divisions that are beneath the person who is the art director. So I just wanted to go over that information so you can see that this is a job that did come up on my aptitude test. I can get to the role of art director if I work hard starting out as a visual development artist. It gets me into the industry where the art directors are. I can learn from the art director that I'm working for, and I can grow into this position, and ultimately I would love this job, I would love this role, the pay is good, and I believe that I would be able to do well in this industry in this particular job title. So feel free to watch the video here. There's also information at the bottom. Just wanted to let you know that this is definitely an outlook for me that I am really excited about. So let's return to the next topic in our list, which is BFA acceptance. So the truth is that I am not guaranteed access to a BFA degree at Colorado public universities, and I'm going to go into detail about why. We'll be taking a closer look at the acceptance rates at the Colorado public universities and the requirements that they have for obtaining access to a course of study that will earn a BFA. And then I'm going to show you how, in contrast, the Academy of Art University's online BFA program offers instant access because it has a 100% acceptance rate, and you do not need to be accepted into the BFA. If you would like to go to school and earn that degree and you're willing to work hard and pay the money, a BFA is available to you regardless of your aptitude. So you do not have to prove your skill level to be accepted into a BFA program at the Academy of Art University. They also don't consider high school grades or other accreditations like SAT scores or ACT test results in determining whether or not you can take a BFA. Anybody who wants to take a BFA degree program from the Academy of Art University online can do so. The closest thing that I could find to a degree in visual development from a Colorado public university was from the University of Colorado, Denver. And they have a 3D graphics and animation emphasis course. Now, this will not happen until you've already completed 70% of your degree, which is a general liberal arts degree, and then you would be getting an emphasis in graphics and animation. So the courses listed below are the only courses that pertain to the 3D graphics and animation emphasis, and you are not guaranteed to just be able to enroll and study under 3D graphics and animation. You have to be accepted. And the way to be accepted is that you have to submit a portfolio as well as an essay and a written statement, and you have to be referred to that program by your teachers or a counselor. So I just wanted to emphasize that all of that information can be found here. Continuing this information, we have the University of Colorado in Boulder also issuing BFA degree application requirements. So as you can see, you're not guaranteed to be able to study and receive a BFA. You have to submit a portfolio of a collection of works, and you have to be referred by somebody on the faculty, and you also have to submit information like your transcript and a written statement as to why you want to be in the BFA program. So I just wanted to show you that I've done research here on this information about how you have to fill out the form and apply and be accepted into the BFA program. This continues to be the case for all of the other public Colorado universities that I've found. For example, we have Adams State University here. They have their admissions process listed here, keys to successful admission, and then the review in junior year. Here is Metro State University in Denver, so you can see there are portfolio requirements for admission to the BFA program. In contrast, if you visit the Academy of Art Universities page on niche.com, you can scroll down to the admissions information, and it has an acceptance rate of 100%. What this means is that they never turn away any student who wants to study at their university. So there are no requirements for SAT scores or ACT scores. They also do not require a specific GPA in order to be admitted as a student. So this works to my advantage because I'd be able to work as a student, getting a BFA right away. I don't have any risk of being denied, and everything is available to me right away because the school is online. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed out this 100% acceptance rate, which is not guaranteed to me at any of the other Colorado University public schools. So taking a look at the acceptance rates at the Colorado public universities, here's a couple of examples. We have Colorado University here in Boulder at 79.8% acceptance rate. Western Colorado University is at 86% acceptance rate. CSU Denver is at 84% acceptance rate, and Metro is even smaller acceptance rate at 64%. So all of the public universities in Colorado do a check on the students before accepting them into their colleges. So from all of the research that I've done so far on these schools, one, you have to maintain a certain grade point average to be considered for acceptance into the school. Two, you have to have a list of extracurricular activities or athletic abilities. Three, you have to be able to submit information about your ACT scores, SAT scores. Sometimes there's also a essay that is required for admission. And then a lot of these you also have to be referred to them and work through their counseling process. So you would be assigned an admissions counselor, and the admissions counselor would walk you through the steps of being accepted or not being accepted depending on the information that you provided to them. So even though these universities are available to me and they have BFA programs, I'm not sure that I would even be able to be accepted into their program because of my low ACT scores and my low GPA. Moving on to the curriculum comparison. I believe this is going to be one of the most vital pieces of information in this entire presentation because it's really going to emphasize how all BFA programs are not created equal. So what does this mean? Basically, just because a Colorado Public University offers a BFA does not mean that it has the same quality of content and the same degree of information that the Academy of Art University online has. And that information is not necessarily going to be enough for me to get a job after I graduate. Also, the content is not available through the Colorado Public Universities like it is through the online school. Basically, I'd be going into studio art, photography, or animation, or possibly a graphic design major, none of which has anything to do with my aptitude or the job that I would like to have after I graduate and the career that I'm looking to be in as a visual development artist. So let's take a closer look at this. The BFA programs that are available through Colorado Public Universities begin as a general degree or liberal arts degree. So, you can only apply for a BFA after completing between 30% to 65% of your general or liberal arts degree. I say 30 to 65% because it varies depending on the degree program of each school. But basically, you are completing classes that have nothing to do with your art major. These are classes in biology, chemistry, sociology, history, English composition, earth science, health and science. So these classes do not pertain to an art major, and you have to complete all of them before you can even have the chance of applying for a BFA. And then again, like I said in our last video, you are not guaranteed acceptance into a BFA or an art concentration of your choice, because all of the online, all of the public universities have a acceptance into the BFA process, so you have to apply and be accepted. In great contrast, the Academy of Art online BFA program has classes from day one that all apply towards your BFA. All of the classes are related to the work that you're going to be doing in the jobs that you have after you graduate. And again, it's a 100% acceptance rate. You do not have to apply to work towards getting your BFA at their university. I did want to mention that it is true for both Colorado Public Universities and the online school through Academy of Art that you do need to maintain a specific grade point average to continue on the BFA path. So if you do fall behind in your grades, you are expected to retake those classes at your own expense so that you can maintain the GPA needed to earn a BFA. And like I said, this is true for both Academy of Art and all of the Colorado public schools. But right now, I really want to focus on this information here about how the BFA programs available through Colorado public universities begin as general or liberal arts degrees. So I'm going to give you some examples. We're going to pull up the internet. So my first example is from Colorado State University. Here is the catalog outlining the major in BFA. So you can go through this and read the information that is available. I will be linking everything from all of these sites in an email to you at the end of this presentation. So again, we're getting into visual arts and studio arts, which is very different than the career-focused area of visual development. So in this example, their BFAs are visual arts that express human experience through a wide range of media, some of which includes oils, acrylics, pastel, charcoal, clay, plaster, steel, bronze, wood, copper, stones, and digital media. So visual artists create abstract works and images of objects, people, nature, photography, and events. And as much as I enjoy creating all of that, and as much as all of these artistic ventures do align with my aptitude of creativity, there are not jobs available, at least not in the amount that would be what I would need to get into an industry. For people that are looking to use oils, acrylics, pastels, charcoal, clay, all of that is geared towards fine arts, which is a very different industry, and that is gallery focused. So you're creating things, you're putting them on a wall for people to look at, and you're selling your work. That's an entirely different industry than the one that I believe I have an aptitude for and the one that I want to go into. You can read more about the potential of occupations here, which again talks about being a creative, which is very different than being a visual development artist. And there are outcomes down here that are very different than being a visual development artist. So yeah, you'll have knowledge and mastery of certain types of artwork, but there's nothing here that prepares me for skills that I would need to get into an industry. Again, this is all concentrations down here: drawing concentration, electronic art concentration, fibers, graphic design, metalsmithing, painting, photo imaging, pottery, printmaking, sculpture. What I'm trying to emphasize is that all of these concentrations are not the kinds of things that you can go out and do a Google search on and get a job in right away. So I just am really struggling with the fact that these aren't connecting as well to an industry with jobs available straight out of college. I mean, they're all very good, but I don't think that they have the amount of support for somebody who's graduated who wants a job. And I'm going to be going into more information about that in other videos. Moving on to animation and film photography and motion design, which is the closest thing that I could find to a visual development degree from a public university, because it has character design classes. But basically you only get one character design class, and the rest of these are very much geared towards your film major and animation. So I would prefer not to work as an animator in which I'm animating an image to make it move. That's a very different job than being a visual development artist, and it takes a different set of aptitudes. Same thing with being a photographer and a person who creates films. I just feel like this area of emphasis is teaching me to go into skill sets that are in a different industry that I don't want to go into and I don't believe I have an aptitude for. I mean, it's definitely an option, but it's not the option that I believe would work best for me, and it's also not the one that I'm most interested in. Here is the university catalog for Colorado University, and this is in Boulder. So you can see the plan of study here. You will fulfill only 12 credit hours in order to get your general requirement for beginning your degree, and then you can pick from these suggestions as to which courses you'll be taking. And a lot of these, again, are in studio arts, so that's drawing, painting, sculpting, creating things with clay. There's a few elective classes that you can select, but again, all of these courses are not geared towards a type of skill set that will get you a job unless you're intending to be a fine artist and market your art and put your art in galleries and create a living for yourself as a studio artist. Again, here is more information along those same lines from Adams State University in Colorado. The degree maps they have for art. They only have a BA in art, not a BFA. If you want to get a BFA, you have to select one of these concentrations. Again, ceramics, drawing, graphic design, metal and jewelry, painting, photography, or sculpture. There are no degrees in here that have anything to do with the industry that I want to go into, working as a visual development artist. Here's an academic planning sheet from Colorado State University in Pueblo, and you can see the information here about the classes that are included in the major for a BFA. So we have things like drawing, art history, English, three-dimensional design, again, English, math, drawing. Going into the later years, the upper division emphasis courses, you have electives that you get to pick, and then there are just more upper division of the same kind of classes in art history, general education, and then again more electives. So you can kind of scroll down and review some more information here, but it's mostly just drawing, history of art, and electives, and then your regular general arts or liberal arts degree classes. And the BFA again happens only after acceptance and only after you've completed a certain percentage of your classes in your original liberal arts degree. Here is Colorado Mesa University with the same situation. You can go through their course curriculum, English composition, math, history, two-dimensional design, foundation drawing, but again, English, history of art. Well, there's some foundational drawing, but then we have stuff like social and behavioral sciences, natural science, health and wellness, history of modern art, natural science lab. I just am seeing so many classes that aren't really preparing me to work in the industry that I would be going into. There's just not enough classes here that go into anything to do with what a visual development artist does. There's no character design, there's no story, there's no concept art or environments. There's nothing here that indicates that you're going to be working on technology that's industry standard, so no Photoshop, no ZBrush, nothing like working on a Wacom Cintiq tablet. All of this is just general art, and that really is concerning because I'm not being prepared to go into the industry that I want to go into. The only thing I could do with this, again, is go into gallery art, studio art, and submit my artwork to galleries in order to make a living. Here's another example from University of Colorado, Denver. Their Fine Arts BFA program. They have classes in 3D graphics and animation, digital design, drawing, painting, photography, scientific media design, sculpture, and transmedia. So again, nothing in there that is a visual development course. You can see the required visual arts courses are here. Just similar to all of the others that I've shown you, drawing, design, a little bit of art history, a little bit of contemporary art, and then you have a pass-fail thesis where you create a final project. The 3D graphics and animation emphasis course, even though I took a look at this because it has a little bit of classes that seem to be in alignment with the areas of my aptitude and my interest. Again, this is focusing more on learning how to be an animator, so that's somebody that actually makes the image that's already set up in the computer move. And also 3D graphics goes into a little bit more of visual effects, which is the 3D working off of certain technology on the computer, and that is different than what is offered through the Academy of Art University's Visual Development program. Continuing with the curriculum comparison, I'm going to be outlining why the Academy of Art University's online program is better. Much better for preparing me for getting employment straight out of school. So the BFA curriculum prepares students for employment. I cannot emphasize this enough. Every single class does not waste time in getting you the skills that you need that are going to be required for when you're working in a job in the visual development field in the industry. So, when you're working on industry standard technology and programs in your curriculum, you're going to be ready. because you've already spent the last 4.5 to 6 years getting your degree working on industry standard technology and programs. So it's not like there's a big learning curve after you get out of school to adapt to the technology that you're going to find in the jobs. I did an interview with Nicholas Viore, who's the department chair, and he's been a visual development artist for 10 years. And in that interview, he tells me that his transition from being a student at Academy of Art University online into becoming a full-time visual development artist for the big name industry companies like Disney and Sony, he said it was an effortless transition because you're already working on industry standard technology, you're using the programs like ZBrush, like Adobe Photoshop, and you're using those programs so much that it becomes second nature to you. You're using those programs in every single class, even the foundational classes that use more traditional pieces of equipment like charcoal and clay. Those classes, they're still using the type of materials that industry standards are used for. So you're not just using any type of clay, you're not using any type of oil paint. They tell you what types of materials to use and why, and they teach you how to use them. That goes into this idea of how the AAUO, that's the Academy of Art University online program, is comprehensive. So the classes are designed to pack a lot of information into each class. So there's no fluff, there's no filler, you get right into it, and there's a tremendous amount of information in each class. Multimedia is an aspect I wanted to touch on here because you're going to start out in foundations, which is going to be your traditional figure drawing, painting, sculpting, but that's going to build into using the computer programs and technology that you'll be using in your job. So if you are using clay, if you are using oil paints, it's not like a general oil paint class or a general sculpting class. You're learning the type of sculpting that you're going to be doing in your job as a maquette sculptor, or you're learning the oil painting techniques that transfer into how to create oil painting technique on a digital platform using a Wacom Cintiq tablet. So there's a lot of different media involved in this degree, and it covers all of it from drawing and sketching into the digital artwork. So all classes are relative to the major. Again, this goes back to no fluff, no introduction, no get your feet wet. Each and every single class is designed to prepare you for employment, and each class is relative to your major. So, for example, the art history classes, you're not just taking a general art history course. You're taking the history of visual development. You're learning about the people that created the industry that you're going into. You're seeing the legacy that they left behind, and you're learning from them. If you're going to take a writing class for that degree, the writing class is not general composition. It's how do you communicate as an artist? How do you communicate to potential employers doing an interview? How do you present your creative ideas in a way that people can understand them? If you're going to take an English course, it also relates to creative writing because you're going to be using your creative aptitude to come up with stories in all different aspects of visual development. That story could be for an actual storyboard for a company that's trying to see what their creation is going to look like in the long run, or it could just be the story behind an outfit that a character is wearing and how that outfit is going to communicate the story of who they are in the story that they're living in. So all of the classes are relative to the major. Even the math class is not algebra. The math class is how do you use math to properly calculate the angles that you're going to need to create proper perspective when you're doing engineering type artwork, when you're creating a world with tall buildings like a cityscape, or for example a train track so it gets smaller as it goes into the distance. There are math calculations that they're going to be teaching you that'll help you set up your artwork so that perspective is correct. And that's very important. All classes are related to the major. All classes teach skills that are required for the job. I touched on this a little bit earlier. There is nothing in here that is just a good class to take because it's related a little bit to your major. They've cut out anything that is not preparing you. So everything teaches the skills that you're going to use in the job. All classes will produce portfolio-ready work. I cannot tell you the difference between the work that I did at a on-campus private art school in Lakewood. I went to the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design for a few years, and none of my pieces were complete enough. I never felt comfortable with their quality to submit them in a portfolio. All of the classes from the Academy of Art University are designed to give you portfolio-ready pieces as soon as you're done with the class. So your assignments become the pieces that go in your portfolio. So you're actually building the portfolio that's going to get you the job while you're in school. So you're doing double duty. You're learning about the artwork, and then you're also creating portfolio pieces as you go along so that when you graduate you have a full portfolio ready to show potential employers. The professionals are industry professionals. The professors are industry professionals. So the professors working at the academy, they have to have been working in the industry that they're teaching in, and a lot of them are currently working in their industry while still teaching. And then an internship is required for graduation. So before I can even receive my BFA from the Academy of Art University, I actually have to get accepted into an internship at a production studio and do visual development art for them in order to graduate. It's part of the credits that are required to get your BFA. And this Academy of Art University's online program has the highest standard in art that I've ever seen. So they ask a lot from their students. I have first-time experience with this with my professor, who was explaining that he does not give out A's easily, that you really have to work for it, and in this way it prepares you for the reality of working, because this is a very competitive industry and you're going to need to be ready when you graduate to compete for the jobs that are out there, and the high standards of the professors are going to make that possible. They're teaching you how to handle what it is that you need to get done so that when you want a job, you're ready and you can get one and you can do well in that job. There's no hand-holding. I mean, they have a lot of support, but it's not like they're just going to do a pass-fail assignment. They're going to critique you, and they're going to critique you hard so that you grow and you learn from those critiques. Right now, I'm going to open up the BFA information for Academy of Art University. So you can see the difference in the curriculum between the online program that's here and the public Colorado universities that I reviewed earlier in this video. I really implore you to listen to this entire section. If you can't, please just go to the website that's right up here. I'll also include that link in the email that I'll be sending you, but please just read the description of every single class so that you can understand the amazing amount of education that you're getting in each class. So all of it is right here. I'm going to review it right now with you, and please read over it yourself when you have the chance. Okay, so starting with semester 1. Analysis of Form is a class that I took back in 2010, so you can take a look at the artwork that I produced from that one and what that class was like. I'll have that information in another video. But they're going through the principles of classical drawing. You're learning about value and shading. You're learning about form and dimension. It's all in charcoal. They don't even get started in color because they're trying to get you to understand the foundations, the basics of creating depth through light and shadow, composition and value patterns. Figure modeling is the next class. This is a class with clay, so they're going to be teaching you human anatomy through sculpture by creating a three-dimensional nude form out of clay. And this is a theme that will go throughout the foundations class. So once you have an understanding of the 3D form of the body, it's much easier to be able to draw it correctly on a digital format. History of visual development, again, if it's a liberal arts history class, yes, it's required for the degree, but it's history of visual development. So you'll explore the impact of specific designers and artists that have had and see how production techniques, costs, financing, marketing have evolved over time. Visual development imaging. So this is going to be a beginner course to creating story through images using Photoshop. So again, you're getting into using the software right away. Semester 2, a crochet, which is again understanding the human body by sculpting the musculature underneath the skin. So we'd actually be creating an entire human figure out of clay or certain aspects of that human figure with clay. So we're sculpting muscles and bones and ligaments and tissues so that we understand how human anatomy works. This is a very important step before you go into figure drawing so that you're understanding how the body works before you begin to start to draw it. Figure drawing, you have a nude model that's filmed, and you will be creating sketches and gesture drawings from the model. Perspective, this is all about how objects relate to space and how they get smaller as they get away from you. So you'll be learning perspective and developing the skills in lots of different ways, from quick sketches to completed drawings and in storyboards. So you'll also be able to integrate figures into scenes, how to plot light, shadows, and reflections to create believable environments. Before I continue, I just want to mention that all of these descriptions are way more descriptive than anything that I could find from any of the from any of the public universities. So unless I actually had been accepted as a student, I couldn't even get descriptions of what each class was going to look like. And here with this Academy of Art Online program, it's all right here. You just read through it, you know exactly what classes you're taking. And if you send an email, they'll even send you a list of the supplies and materials that you're going to be using in that class. So we have color and design, an in-depth study of color and design principles. And then we have composition for the artist, again learning all of the foundational skills of being able to write about your artwork. So we have another example here of a liberal arts degree, but it's centered towards the major. So it's an introductory writing course that gives students the foundational writing skills they need to succeed in their coursework and the professional world. So these essay assignments are designed to help students express their own artistic identity, process, and vision through proficient professional writing. Emphasis is on grammar, style, revision, and research basics. Here's Visual Development 1, so it's like the prequel, getting into your visual development skills. So again, you're working with Photoshop, reinforcing the basic idea of composition. You'll be starting to work with clothed figures, continuing color theory, and all of this applies to the visual development field. The still life painting is going to give you a skill set for still life and painting in general. You get to learn to indicate various forms with single light sources, to paint from lights, and cast shadows, plus you'll gain an understanding of warm and cool colors, composition, cropping, overlapping, and placement in the picture frame. So even though this is an oil painting class, what you're doing is you're learning the skills that you're going to need for your digital art through the medium of painting. And this is all about getting you prepared for the classes that are coming later on in your semesters. Clothed figure drawing, again, very specific. If you're going to create characters, you're going to have to know how to develop their wardrobe. You're going to be creating costumes for them, and you got to know how to do that. So clothed figure drawing here. We have art history through the 15th century, so you're getting some art history classes. Designing careers, I thought this was very important. Again, this is emphasizing that the degree is preparing you to be ready for a job. So, this course focuses on communication skills for collaboration, self-promotion, and professional interactions. Topics will include industry research, entrepreneurial and employee-based career opportunities, and legal issues associated with the workplace. Students will write a persuasive project proposal and also collaborate across disciplines and group projects. Audience and proposal will be emphasized. This is super important because part of being a visual development artist is going to be pitching yourself to employers and also pitching your ideas to them. Because you're an idea person as a visual development artist, you're going to present a lot of ideas and a lot of them very quickly, and you have to be able to do that in a very precise, comprehensive, clear way. And classes like Designing Careers is going to help you with that. Digital painting for visual development, so we go straight from the oil painting up here at the beginning of the semester right into the digital. So you're transferring those skills immediately, again utilizing Photoshop and 3D software, and you'll be working on studio ready industry level technology like the Wacom Cintiq tablet. Going in a little bit further into semester 4, expressive hands and heads. Digital media 2, illustrative imaging. So you're going to get knowledge and experience in the application of traditional illustration translating into digital media. So we're going into concept development, personal style will be the emphasis, and critiques will consider composition, lighting, content, meaning, and other criteria. Again, we have another art history class. Here's another liberal arts class, but again, in English composition, it's focusing on how to prepare you for a job. So it's creative, persuasive arguments. So you're going to be learning the art of persuasion, which is very important because you have to know how to sell yourself to the employees or employers. They want to know why you're the best choice for the job. So you're going to learn how to support your point of view through research and augmentation and express your opinions in written, thesis-based expository essays, which is kind of what I'm doing right here, right now. I'm trying to convince you that this is the right school and that I need funding to go into this industry. And this is the type of thing that I would be doing in visual development. I would be making persuasive arguments to plead my case about the type of artwork that I can offer to that studio. Visual development production will promote your skills with portfolio quality work. Again, highlighting portfolio quality work. I am building my portfolio as I am in school. You'll experience the full production pipeline. This is very important, so it's going to give you a whole idea of how every single production company works. All of them have a pipeline, and the pipeline goes through the different steps of the studio, from animation, documentary, and live action, and working on short films or games that tell a compelling story. All of those have pipelines, and I'm going to learn about those pipelines and where I fit in each part of the pipeline. Visual development 2, continuing on the skills from previous classes. Again, you'll use your vivid imagination, strong drawing and painting skills to help you create characters and environments that set the mood of a story. Vehicle and armor design. This is a specialty class. I have not seen this type of class listed in any other degree program anywhere. So when you're working with game and character design, you're going to run into things like vehicles and battle armor. That is part of what the fantasy world is going to have in it, and some of the other video games also have vehicles as the center of their games. Things like cars, when Pixar created the movie Cars, that was incredibly vehicle focused. All the characters were cars. So there's an actual class about vehicle and armor design for visual development. Again, we're going to be expanding on clothed figures so that you can actually draw humans that have clothes that move and flow and work well for the type of environments that you're putting them in. The liberal arts unit, where you're going to be learning about writing, here it's centered on writing the short story. So we're going to be going into narrative storytelling, including dialogue, point of view, character development, plot setting, and variations in a narrative genre. Again, here's more anatomy of automobiles, like I just went into earlier about cars. We have color scripting, which is very important because when you go into a production company that's creating a final product, they're going to give you a color script and you have to create off of the script of colors. Or if you're very good with color, they may come to you and say, I would like you to develop the color script for our film or game or commercial or product. So you're going to be learning about color scripting in cinematic composition, atmospheric use of color, and color continuity in the complex 16-frame color script. Going into semester 6, you have advanced perspective for illustration, film, and games. So again, if I'm learning math, these calculations are going to help me create proper perspective. We have history of animation, so the liberal arts degree is being tied back into the subject matter of the major. So this course examines the aesthetic and technical evolution in animation in historical context. So students will identify and analyze the work of creative visionaries, fine artists, and technical pioneers behind classic animated characters such as Bugs Bunny to contemporary animated feature films and beyond. So the history class is comprehensive. It does not have to do with general history. It's career specific for the industry of animation, which is one of the industries that you can work in as a visual development artist. Here we have the Genius of Appeal. This is a liberal arts course, but again, it's actually incorporating skills that you're going to need in order to get a job after you graduate. So you are learning how to promote yourself and promote your work. This course will examine the nature of audience appeal in entertainment design and production. Students will review and evaluate examples of appealing versus unappealing properties in film, television, animation, and games. An emphasis will be placed on understanding the means, methods, and principles by which students can achieve more appeal in their work. So even though it's a liberal arts class, what you're doing is you're learning how to make your work better. Here's Western civilization. It's important to study civilizations like ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, as well as different Islamic religions and societies, because you're going to need to have knowledge of anthropology and of culture to create engaging and adaptive characters. So your artwork is going to be pretty boring if you just focus on like a Caucasian American character, and that's all you know how to draw, it's all you know how to work with. So this is why these liberal arts classes, where you have to understand history, it's going into civilization so that you can know how to take the principles of these cultures and put them into your artwork. We have character design for visual development and ZBrush. This is very important because ZBrush is the software that professionals in the industry use. So you are using software that you're going to be using when you get a job. This is 3D software that allows you to sculpt and paint models. You'll be creating organic and hard surface assets, adding surface details, and finishing models with UVs and textures. This is incredibly important because this whole sentence right here, these are where the jobs are. These skills, all of those jobs that I put down in my 100 job search, where you can browse through the 100 jobs that I found in visual development, many of them list the organic and hard surface assets including surface details and finishing models. So you're going to be creating textures, you're going to be creating maquettes, those are those clay sculptures of the characters. You can see examples of that in the pictures that I sent you from the Denver Museum of Nature and Science exhibit, The Science of Pixar. They had maquette sculptures there in that exhibit. And again, you're painting them and sculpting them through ZBrush software. Here's visual development for live action. So you're going to be becoming more of a versatile artist because it's preparing you to do visual development in multiple different industries, including live action. So you'll create a professional package that includes value and color studies, production paintings, and thumbnail compositions, and you'll be learning to do both live action and family style film without compromising the integrity of your design. So again, you're learning the industry standard issued information that you're going to need if you're going to work in film. Here's Character Design 1, bringing characters to life, exploring quick drawing, line of action, volume, caricature skills that'll help you design original characters, make model sheets, and do turnarounds. Now, turnarounds, those are items that have to be included in your portfolio. From the research I did, employers are looking for turnarounds, and that's basically where you create your character and you digitally turn them around so that your potential employer can see that character from many different angles, from a 3/4 view and a side view, so you get a full profile of the character that you've created. Semester 7, again, the liberal arts history classes, they're relative to your degree. So you're doing a history of gaming. Since gaming is a big industry, it's one of the main industries that visual development artists work in. So you'll be covering games from ancient board games to modern consoles. This gives you relevance and meaning to the human experience of interaction through games. You're going to be studying game design and game theory, nonlinear storytelling, and you also do an overview of game industry companies, which is super important because you got to know what game industries which companies work in the gaming industry so that you know who you're going to be applying for. You have to know the people that you're going to be working with. You also need to understand the technology and terminology that's used in the gaming industry. We also have UI, which is user interface for visual development. Emphasis will be placed on graphic design and leveraging user interface for maximum appeal. So you're dipping into another industry of graphic design, but again, it is not an emphasis on graphic design in the career. It's just having this graphic design as part of your user interface learning, but the whole degree is not designed to make you a graphic designer, is basically what I'm trying to say. Visual development styles, you'll learn to apply different styles to your animations. You're going to learn styles from graphic, European, and Eastern styles, and you're going to apply those to your character design, your prop design, environment design, and composition, value, and color. So you're learning all the different types of styles that you can use and when to use them and where it's appropriate to use them. Here's a collaborative project. So again, there we go. You can see it now. You're getting skills that you're going to need in real world life. So you're going to learn how to collaborate with people. You're going to learn how to work on teams. And all of this information, again, real world projects. And this part right here require a varied and sophisticated approach to problem solving. All of this came up in my aptitude tests, so creative problem solving was definitely a core skill that is something that I would say I'm very good at, and this whole class is all about that. We have semester 8, getting into our final semester here, learning animal anatomy. So you'll be doing skeletons, muscles, basic structures of animals, Topics will include movement and rhythm of animals, fur and skin textures, comparison between the human and animal forms. Students will work with both digital media and traditional drawing techniques. So again, this is not the kind of thing that you see at your average BFA program from a public school in Colorado. They just did not have classes like that. Here's topics in world art so that the creativity that you're going to be doing in the work that you're creating is relevant. You're going to be learning themes of world art, looking at the history of world art, emphasizing the stylistic and ideological intersections between various cultures and geographic regions. Again, you're almost studying the anthropological aspect of life so that you can incorporate that into your characters to make them more dynamic in industry or interesting, so that again you don't have just plain old white bread characters. Americas, Asia, Africa, Europe, Polynesia, and Australia, getting everybody in. So no just plain old easy seen before characters. You're developing depth in your character design by studying topics in world art. Crowdfunding and social media marketing, this is a very important class because it's very relevant to the industry right now and to getting a job in the industry. So this course will examine the increasingly important role of social media in a project creation, and students will enhance, promote, and facilitate projects by integrating such concepts as crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, and transmedia development into their work. Through practical strategies, students will build a brand for their projects, and that brand can be used for development through production and distribution. So this is the business of being a visual development artist right here. They're teaching you the ins and outs of the business. They're preparing you so that you're ready to market yourself when you graduate. Here's creatively speaking, presentation for designers. Again, this may be a liberal arts course, but it's relating to the major and it's relating to a skill that's going to get you a job. So here's creatively speaking, presentation for designers is creative communication that is essential to professionally present designs and articulate ideas to clients. In this course, students will learn how to read and identify with their audience, speak with confidence, and tell a story. Students will practice presentations, vocal techniques, and pacing in a supportive and engaging environment. This is the kind of thing that I'm doing right now, only they're going to teach me how to do it more professionally and gear it towards the work that I want to do in the industry so that I can get a job. Here's a senior portfolio for visual development. This is very important because it's similar to a study hall class like you would have in high school. So your senior portfolio for visual development class is all about being able to build your portfolio professionally and submit the best work that you've done throughout your career as a student so that you're ready to give your portfolio to potential employers when you graduate. So you'll build client and artistic relationships by practicing the art of presentation and behavioral skills to create a consistent professional identity and portfolio. And then down here, I'll go into this a little bit further in the internship section, but you will do an internship before you graduate. You have a student services advisor that will help you get into an internship, and it is required for you to do a 3-month internship before you graduate. So, to apply for an internship for credit, you must have a senior status, a minimum of a 3.0 cumulative GPA, and have successfully completed 90 units of coursework and obtain department director approval. So you're going to be working on all of the skills that you're building for your professional final portfolio review. And then if you're interested, you discuss your eligibility about internships with your advisor. They get you set up, and then you submit all of the forms and information, and you get everything done by the deadlines, and then you have an internship before you graduate.